Hi, Jeff Bridgman here. I want to show you a couple of drums, one in particular, and this is a paint decorated Civil War snare drum by John Haynes and Company, Boston. It has a label. It's marked known maker, unbelievable red paint, wonderful sort of lipstick red almost in color, but that's not really what I came here to show you today. I only brought this out to illustrate the size of another drum. So this is a pretty decent sized snare drum. It's not a small one by any means. Would have been taller, actually is cut down slightly. Most are. Most were cut down after the war, but it's quite a kicker. But it's a great representation to show you the scale of the biggest drum that I have ever had, and I think the biggest that I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen anything of this scale. In style, this is very, very similar to some children's drums that were made around the turn of the century. Late 1880s, 1890s probably. They tend to be about this big around, just small little drums. They tend to have a vertical flag, something like this in style. But this is just an absolute monster. And what you typically see in the Civil War period would be a regular bass drum, very much like our bass drums of today that you see carried in parades, upright and flat, about this scale, a little bit bigger sometimes, but not nearly so tall. And then you see another type that are about this big around, but are about this height, that are called long drums. That's more of an English form. It's not often seen in America, but they're pretty fabulous when you do find them. This is just gargantuan. I just have these other things here to illustrate size. Wonderful pair of beaded moccasins, sort of a normal scale. And this is a big Honeycrisp, basically the biggest apple you will see at a grocery store. And so if that gives you some kind of an idea of just how big this thing is. Now, unlike the little drums I was just talking about, the children's drums, this is probably a little earlier, say 1876 era. It's probably centennial. The star count on the flag is 35. That's a Civil War star count. And if you didn't know a lot about drums, you'd be way more tempted to date it to that period. It could date to that period, but probably not. Conservatively later, but not as late as the little drums that look like it. So the paint surface on the flag is just terrific. There's a little bit of loss, but not much, and no in-painting at all. Wonderful little tassels on this painted staff. And around here, this is the vent hole. There's no label on this drum, but if there were, you'd look through the vent hole and see the label on the back side of the drum. It's maple with ash rims, and look at this wonderful star that's sort of a compass star, or a mariner's compass and star combined with 12 points. Probably no significance in the 12 points instead of, say, 13. It's just probably meant to be artistically balanced. Ropes are replaced. Heads are replaced, but wonderful and a terrific job all around. Ears may be replacements. They may be original. They look original at first glance, but and they may very well be. If these are replacements, they're tremendous and exceptionally well done. There's a little bit of warping to the body, but when you get into something of this scale, where the wood is, that thick at the most, that's going to happen. These are unusual, these little metal, probably brass decorations that are tarnished along the top. The hooks are original, and a drum like this is just it's wonderful displayed somewhere if you have the space. If you don't have the space to put it on top of something, they make great coffee tables and end tables. This one is about 28 inches around, 32 inches would be a great top. You could certainly go bigger than that. It can support it. You don't want to get too crazy heavy so that you're forcing too much down on the drum, but you know, if you keep it within a relatively good size, boy, are they dynamic. That is most of the decoration. On the other side of the drum, there's actually a white and a red stripe. I don't know why exactly, but there's basically 3 red stripes, and this one is trimmed out in white. This is where the joinery takes place, where there's little tacks or wooden pegs. Looks like wooden pegs in this case, and all original surface, just tremendous. So thanks for looking, and glad I could show you something neat that I just bought.